Hello, Sharks.
Hi.
My name is Jeff Sleesman. I'm here today to introduce you to Stemcare, a new brand that's set to disrupt the global skincare market. I'm asking for $1 million US for a 15% stake in the company. A few years ago, I was working for a biotechnology company. We were engaged by the military to look into novel therapies for battlefield wound care. The base of that research was a novel material that was developed by our biomedical engineers called platelet extract. It was a proprietary material. This collaboration with the military resulted in some very interesting scientific data for us. The laboratory data showed that the material we were using was very beneficial for skin cells, for soft tissue, and it rapidly increased the body's production of collagen and of new skin tissue. The results from these data would suggest to us that there were plenty of other uses well beyond the battlefield that we were examining at the time. A hypothesis of ours was that it would be a useful skincare line. However, we had nothing in hand to prove our hypothesis. Hence, we developed a minimal viable product to give us some proof of data some proof of concept for the skincare market. We had minimal funding. It was all done in-house. The packaging was what we could get done as quickly as possible to try to get a product into consumers' hands. There was no marketing budget at all. We did a limited production run so we could make sure that we had some good data, but we didn't break the bank in investing in this. Much to our surprise, it sold out quickly, and 90% of the sales were recurring orders. People were coming back. It went really well. As part of this proof of concept, we also did a clinical study. But the clinical study went very well. It had positive results, both analytically and in terms of the participants' reactions. As you can see, the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles was greatly reduced. We quantified that at about 25% reduction over 2 months in the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles. We also had improvements in skin tone and dark spot reduction for the participants over the course of sometimes 1, sometimes 2 months. All of these were less than 2 months. There were no adverse effects whatsoever among any participants, and the vast majority of them said that they would not only recommend it to a friend, but that they felt that their skin looked better and felt better. Given the results from this proof of concept experiment that we had, it was clear that there was something here for the skincare market. We were an R&D focused biomedical company, however. What do we do? I decided to leave my job. I founded an independent company, separate from my previous work. I negotiated a global exclusive license for the material to use in skincare, hair care, cosmetics, the beauty market in general. And we are ready to take the next steps to do a better formulation that really gives the product what it deserves for the luxury skincare market and improve on the delivery of the product, well above and beyond what we had done in a kind of quick fashion earlier. We're looking at Europe strongly. We want to really make sure that we make a strong impact here in terms of the market. It's the largest market for skincare. But secondly, the structure of the market is such that for various rules, regulations, other expectations, if you can sell here, if you're ready to sell here, you can sell anywhere else. And the reverse is not always true. So rather than have to do some things twice, we're looking to really get ready and hit here strongly and then move on elsewhere. Although we're ready to go in the US because we're based there. And we're looking at Malta specifically because it gets us into the EU market, but the business climate here is really fantastic to base R&D and manufacturing, and then strategically located geographically for both EU market and the Middle East and North Africa. When we go into the Asian market, we can go either from the US or from here. We could play it either way. It gives us flexibility. So we're poised to go to market with 3 core products: fine lines and wrinkles, acne scars, and scars and stretch marks. We know what those products are going to look like. Subsequently, we'll release complementary products like a cleanser, night cream. There's really a lot of things we could do with this key material that we have a global exclusive license to use. And we'd really be excited if you join us in our venture. Thanks.
Hi. You made this discovery whilst you were working with a biotech firm, right?
Right.
What stopped the biotech firm from trying to commercialize the ingredient itself?
It's out of their realm of expertise, really. Nothing would have stopped them necessarily, but it would have been a very different company. It would have had 2 unrelated lines of business. And part of that exclusive license that I have does include a royalty, so there's something in it for them. But to try to undertake that with an R&D focused environment, it made a lot more sense to have it be two different companies.
And no attempts were made to try and license the ingredient, being that it's, as you stated, it's so revolutionary to the, I don't know, the L'Oreals of this world, Shiseidos, Clarins. I mean,
Yep.
they're always dying for the next new thing.
Yeah, we did that.
And what happened?
So it tends to not be how they do things these days. So there's not a lot of that. They do have research and development wings. They do some, but they tend to prefer to do their R&D through M&A.
The big challenge here, the skincare market is all about marketing. Mm-hmm. And you're up against very deep-pocketed companies. You can choose to go it alone and market through your website, but once you're going to go and try and attack pure retail, it's very, very difficult to get in there. So I think, I don't know if you have plans to have further fundraisings in the future, but 1 million is going to be just a drop in the ocean.
Yeah, it is. So the $1 million gets us started. We have interest in follow-on funding.
Okay.
The follow-on funding is kind of poised. They just want someone to lead invest. Obviously, there'll probably be a difference in terms because whoever comes first.
And how did you come up with your valuation?
We looked at some previous company valuations, and then we also looked at a discounted cash flow of what we expected. And that was also based on, we have marketing and production partners who have worked on small independent brands before and seen growth, and we used some track records there for where they were going, and then did a discounted cash flow projection for that, and came up with a valuation.
I think it's exciting if if it really does what it says on the box, But it's a very, very difficult market. It's a very busy market. Mm-hmm. The anti-wrinkle market is, every company is coming up with new stuff all the time. And at this valuation, I would be out.
What is the novel element? What differs you from the rest, from the competition?
The key ingredient.
The key ingredient.
Yeah.
So you have this secret ingredient that you have a patent on, right?
There's a patent filed. Yeah.
There's a patent filed. All right.
Yeah. It's going through the process of execution, but yeah. And we have an exclusive license to use it in skincare, hair care, beauty products.
And you think there's a huge difference? I mean, once it's out on the market, it will clearly...
I think there's a clear difference. There's a patent pending. Above and beyond the patent, also, the material expertise to actually make it in a form that's useful, because that material can actually be a number of different forms. And a material that's actually useful for a consumer and shelf stable, my scientific partner is an expert in that. And there's very few people that will know how to get that to where it can actually be a product on the shelf that won't spoil very quickly, and that a consumer can easily use.
The active ingredient, the secret ingredient that you're mentioning,
Yeah.
is it classified as an ingredient that needs to be FDA certified?
FDA certified? No.
It's not a medicine.
So yeah, that's easier in the States. We would have to go through some of those things, and that's a good example, actually, it's a very good example, of one of those things that to prepare a product like this for the EU market, you have to do more. Hence, we're actually we want to make sure that we're getting all of our ducks in a row, as you were, everything ready for here first, because we can sell in the States or Asia if we're
So
ready
it's
here.
classified as a medical device?
As of now, but we don't have to do a lot of that stuff to be in the skincare market in the States. You kind of do it the other way of, you can go ahead and sell, and then if something's wrong, the FDA comes in and says, hey, wait a minute. You have to manufacture in a facility that's up to FDA certifications, but there's a whole lot of things that you just can start selling.
In Europe, it's EU GMP, just to...
What's that?
In Europe, it would be EU GMP, the manufacturing standard.
GMP?
Yeah.
EU GMP.
EU GMP.
And regarding the product itself, because if I understood correctly, you're licensing the technology that was developed. Do you still have relationships with the company that did the original research?
Yeah, we have a good relationship, yes.
So the R&D component in your expenditure, is it going to go to them? Because what is the R&D component in the plan?
The very first part of it will be a reformulation and making sure that the serum that the material is mixed with is top-notch, that the product delivery device is solid, it doesn't fail, and it keeps the material sealed. And then a lot of it is also for follow-on products. When we get into, we would love to make a face mask and have the ingredient kind of embedded into the face mask, really like a part of that, so that when you have that face mask on at night, it does its job. Similarly with a cleanser, we would want to do some decent research and development. While the ingredient probably wouldn't be that useful in a cleanser, to have a cleanser that best primes your skin to then follow on with like a night cream. And then obviously some of the R&D would be something like a night cream.
Can I ask you to just give us a direction on your revenue?
Yeah.
So you intend to push to 26 million in the next 5 years?
Yeah. That really takes off so our plan is to start out with taste-making outlets, both online and brick and mortar and retail. So smaller shops in places like New York or LA, London, places where celebrities may go for their needs. They may always be on the avant-garde of, okay, what's new, what's the best, here, we'll try this, when people start to hear about it a little bit that way. At the same time, obviously selling online, and then some of those, the subscription-based, send me a package of whatever's new, you send me 6 products every month and I try them out. Those kinds of taste-making outlets. At the same time, we start conversations with the larger retailers. They take much longer. You start right away talking to them and they kind of look at you and say, great, come back to me. You call back 2 months later, 3 months later, great, get back to me. In the meantime, when you're doing sales in the taste-making retailers, building up that reputation and that brand name, then after a few months when you've been making those phone calls to the bigger stores, then they start saying, I've heard of you actually now. You've been doing this, what are your sales at? Okay, we'll put you into this store here and this store here. We'll put you into these 3 stores. Then we'll get you nationwide. And that's when that really takes off. The first few years,
You're expecting that in
it's
year 4?
lower.
Year 4 and year 5?
Yeah,
And by add-on
and that's
one...
because they'll also have expectations. You can't just sit on the shelves, and you can't be a low seller.
That's the selling.
But once you're in there, it's okay. You gotta move. You gotta get going, and we'll help you do it. But you have to do it with us.
And that means, so how do you relate to the positioning of the product in terms of the pricing? So the 129 per unit, why are you staying at that number?
It's what we did for those core products. We'll also have different priced follow-on products. A night cream would probably be a little bit more. A face mask would certainly, it would probably end up, well, maybe not per
Depends
unit,
on the
but
value.
yeah. But that also means that we're not stuck in that pricing. So if inflation, for example, by the time we get on the market with the face mask, if something in that supply chain has really caught on, the inflation the last couple of years has really caught on and made it go up, we probably have some flexibility there. And the nice thing about this market is there is some flexibility there. It's not something where I'm only gonna pay, $19 and the minute it hits 20, I'm out. It's not, like $129 is reasonable in that market for a month's supply, which is what each unit is. And if inflation catches up and by the time we actually get on the market and we have to go to 139, 140, there's some flexibility in terms of what the consumer will pay.
Okay, so from my end, I can't help you and I can't see myself how I can contribute to you besides forking out the money. Thinking of doing it in Malta is an honor for us. In general, Stemcare is a great name. Well done. I like it. It's a great story. I wish you well.
Thanks.
Same here. Unfortunately, I wish you all the best, but I will not be investing.
Yeah, thank you.
But good luck.
Thank you.
For me, I think it's not something that is for me, but I think it's a good idea.
Understandable. Thanks.
I think it's a good idea.
I think it's a brilliant idea. I think it's a lucrative market. You need to spend millions on marketing to be able to just get brand awareness. I'm out because the valuation is too high at this point.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Jeff,
thanks.
thank you.
Appreciate it.
It's your delight. Thank you.
It's a pity.
They gave great feedback. Even the sharks who don't necessarily work in this industry, they had interesting questions and they had useful comments. And then those that do, obviously, they know things better and had great things to say about where exactly things stand, the difficulties that are ahead, which are understandable. It was very, very useful. It was a great learning experience.